Every state, every country in the world wants more tourism. More tourism means more people, and that means more waste. But how to manage this waste consciously and responsibly is a challenge every country and state is grappling with. I have with me an expert in Dr. Levinson Martins, who has been heading the Goa Waste Management Corporation, and this corporation is doing a stellar job. Let's speak to him. Dr. Levinson Martins, thank you so much for joining us on this show with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It is hard to believe that this place where we are standing used to be a big landfill site at some point in time. What led to this massive transformation? Now it's full of greenery.
It is true that this place was a big dump for various local bodies, that is panchayats in the state of Goa, especially for bigger panchayats like Kalangut, Kandoli and other panchayats. And what we did is we made this project, which is a solid waste management project here, which is a brownfield project. We remediated the entire waste of over 70,000 meters cube of waste which was here. And after various fractions were made, after screening that, they were disposed of, and we reclaimed land. And on this land, this plant is set up. In fact, the second plant which has come up in Kakora in South Goa is also on a dump. Dump is remediated, land is reclaimed, and plant has been set up.
So it seems like Goa is on the mission to reclaim landfills and reduce dump sites. How is this happening, and how are you enabling it?
See, you must understand, Goa is a small state. Okay, there are very good indicators otherwise, but waste was an issue. So, not only this particular place, South Goa plant, also in addition to that, there were 11 dumps in the state of Goa. The biggest one was at Sonsodo, which was a dump of Margaon Municipal Council. That also has been remediated. So we have remediated 11 such dumps, including these two, which are 11 plus 2. So 13 dumps has been remediated, and it is a very difficult task. There is a lot of cost also goes into that. But we had to reclaim the land because our policy was to set up our waste management plants on the reclaimed land after reclaiming by clearing the dumps. Because land is an issue. To get land is a bit difficult in the state of Goa, being a small state. So that's how we had to go for remediation and reclaiming land and setting up our plants.
And when we see this plant, the Salegaon plant, it's being called a role model plant, and people are talking about adopting these practices in other spaces. What makes it so successful?
See, this plant came about, the idea came about in 2012. That time Dr. Manohar Parrikar was also the Chief Minister of the state. And of course, his vision has been carried forward by the current government, Dr. Pramod Sawant. And I will tell you, one of the success stories of this is, normally waste is managed by the local bodies, municipal corporation, municipalities or the panchayat. But in the state of Goa, a very innovative step was taken to set up a waste management corporation, which is the SPV, to manage waste, which is specially common waste management plants. This is not only waste, municipality waste, we have also set up hazardous waste, biomedical waste, e-waste is in the process, okay, and construction debris waste also is in the process. So, this setting up of waste management corporation, was like a catalyst to push these things forward. So, which municipalities otherwise could not do, we were in a position to do it with a record time. And the first plant came up here at this very place, which was a 100 tons per day capacity plant. So dedicated corporation, dedicated SPV, I think is the reason to accelerate and then to have these plants in place.
Also, like you said, this is the first time in the country that a special purpose vehicle, a special corporation for managing waste has been created, and that is why so much focus is on waste management. If I am not wrong, Goa is one of the very few or the only state which has a separate waste management ministry.
Yes. The Ministry of Department of Science and Technology and Waste Management. In fact, technology has been used to ensure that the issue of waste is resolved. That's how this entire thing came about. And just to tell you about this particular plant, we started with a 100 tons per day capacity plant, It caters to about 25 panchayats and municipal corporations also. Waste which is brought here is treated and then scientifically disposed of. So initially collection and transportation was an issue. Now gradually we overcome that particular thing, we overcame that particular issue. And now because the waste was more than the design capacity of the plant, we had to expand this plant to 250 tons per day capacity. So now it is already expanded from 2021 to 250 tons per day capacity plant, and now the South Goa plant has also come up.
So, what is the vision? Like, are you in the process of setting up more plants? Because I've seen that different kind of waste facilities are coming up. And are these facilities enough to cater to the waste that is being generated?
See, Goa, as per our survey, will have a little over 750 tons of waste per day. So now this is 250 tons per day capacity. South Goa, 100 tons per capacity plant is also come up, which is again 20% above that you can cater. So the third plant is being planned at Bangini to cater to the mid Goa part.
Okay.
And that the first part of it, the request for qualification is over. We are in the process of floating requests for proposals now very soon. So the third plant will come. Time being, I think these three plants should be sufficient to manage the waste. Because when the plants are there, see, plant is just like a factory. You bring waste, you treat it, and there are various components of that. So components, one compost comes, one RDF comes, electricity is generated, okay, and that's how the plant functions. So sometimes something happens for maintenance purpose, we can shift waste from here to there, because for us incoming waste is the input or raw material for the plant.
So, like you said, this is like a factory, but to make this successful, how have you been able to instill that consciousness and awareness into Goans and the tourists? Because there are more tourists here than the locals. Then how have been you successful in making people aware that you need to segregate your waste? Because unless the waste is segregated, waste cannot be responsibly disposed of.
See, waste management rules came about in 2016, and today we are in 2023.
Yeah.
So the rules are there, but Goa was pioneer in these rules because we had our own rules, local law, Goa Non-Biodegradable Control Act 1996.
Okay.
So we had one of the first act in the country.
Okay.
But subsequently there were central rules which came in 2000,
Okay.
waste management rules. Then thereafter 2016 rules. Now as per that 2016 rules, the state has to set up these facilities and scientifically treat the waste. Now because Goa has high literacy, we had to push with the local panchayats, municipalities, with the councillors, with the panchayats and the panchas, that is the panchayat members, plus the NGOs, and we had various IEC activities to cause awareness among the public, and we have been successful, but it was difficult initially. We struggled to get almost even 20-30 tons per day when the plants were set up. And plants, as you know, cannot be set up for maximum capacity because you can have some range, because the plant waste is dynamic. You can't design only for certain type of waste, so of certain quantity of waste. So after almost a year, it reached about 80-90 tons here. So it took some time to ensure that waste is collected, waste is segregated and transported here. In fact, I remember the ex-chief minister I brought here, and he interacted with all the panchayats which are captive to this plant, and he said, now that the plant is come up, please ensure that you collect waste properly and bring it here so that we treat it here. So as I said, after it expanded to 21, we had to expand this. Now it is 250 tons. So waste will go on increasing as a tourist state. We are about maybe 18 lakhs, and we are getting over 80 lakhs of
Yes.
floating population as tourists in the state of Goa.
So that is a unique thing, that despite having a very high number of tourists around the year, the beaches are cleaner as compared to other places. I went to some of the beaches in the morning and I spoke to many tourists, including foreign tourists, and they were kind of impressed that, you know, the beaches are not littered. So I think this is a big change that has come about in the functioning of the people here, and they understand the nature of responsibly disposing of waste that is visible on the streets.
No, madam, I have to inform you that there is a separate waste collection mechanism along the beach of the state, or the beaches of the state. So from there, waste is collected by tourism department. They have the contractor. That waste also comes here, this plant. And we also have a system of collection of waste along the highways and major district roads. So manually it is collected and it is also transported here and treated here. But there cannot be any policy of any government, not only this government, any government in the world, that people go on throwing and we go on collecting. It cannot happen. So we are carrying out the IEC activities at the same time, and we are collecting also the waste. So probably a day will come, we'll have very less litter on the beach and on the this. You cannot see any waste because we are taking off everywhere.
Yes, of course.
Other thing is success of this plant. There's a monitoring committee of technical people, and they go through the deliverables of this plant every month. So there's a check and balance and verification of the performance almost every month. So that's how we keep the plant going. This is the 7th year plant is functioning, and the concession was for initially 10 years. So 7 years have completed. So another 3 years the plant will go on.
That is great. What do you have to say to other corporations or states who are looking up to Goa as a model state for waste management? What is your message to them?
In fact, the National Green Tribunal in a all India or Pan India matter before the National Green Tribunal 6 of 606 matter, they passed an order that the good practices that Goa has adopted has to be the other state has to learn from Goa, and they have directed the Chief Secretary to hold a conference for them. And I would say that this work of management of waste is a bit difficult but not impossible task. You require a dedicated team, and this has to be a priority. Then things can be set up, and then not only setting up, but then it has to be made to work. So I have also visited many state waste management facilities in the country and also abroad earlier. So it's a cumulative, all this knowledge has led into be put into this particular thing, not only to set up but also to run it. But I am not the one. There's a team which has gone into the details. From Goa GSIDC is there, which has the expertise in setting up infrastructure, and there are other technical people, especially from government. So that team is going into this, and every month we evaluate the performance.
I think it takes a lot, not just a very conscious and passionate team, but also the willpower at the highest level that drives down to making something as successful as what this plant has come about to, and the credit goes to Dr. Martins, GWMC, and I hope this effort is replicated across Goa and across India. Thank you so much, Dr. Martins, for sharing your valuable time with us.
But as I said, this has been a team effort. I am not the only one. There were many technical people who are in government or government servants. A team was put up, and then that's how we studied for 1 year in 2013. Thereafter, 2016 May, this plant was inaugurated. But the challenge was more in making the plant function on a day-to-day basis. So that's the major thing. Not only here, all over the country I have seen, but a dedicated team and dedicated effort, and people who love this particular work has to be brought as a team, and then I think things will be easy. Leaving it alone to the panchayats or municipalities, I think it's not possible unless they develop that expertise.
Right. Thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.